course, Florida is known for its Publix supermarket chain. But do you know where the first store opened, when, and what happened to it? A lot of questions. For all the answers to all of those questions, here is clickorlando.com and News 6 digital producer Anthony Talcott to start us off. Tony, where can we find this place? We all love Publix.
Well, you're not alone on that one. My wife and I both love it too. And if you're a big fan of Publix and want to visit for the first one ever, you'll have to take a trip down to Winter Haven. Now, the building's located at 58 4th Street in the city's downtown area, right next to Central Park. But before we go too much further, let's do a quick history lesson. So Publix founder George Jenkins started Publix in Winter Haven way back in 1930 after resigning as the manager at the local Piggly Wiggly. Who remembers that one?
Not the pig.
Now, it was a local hit, and 5 years later, he ended up opening another store on the other side of town. And another 5 years after that, so 10 years later, he opened up the first Publix supermarket, though he had to sell the other two stores to do so. Now, after being passed around a few times, the 4th Street store eventually landed in the hands of 610 LLC, a commercial property management company in the area. The building's been leased to plenty of different business owners over the past few decades, but most recently, it was used by a New Orleans-styled restaurant called Tempo 1930. And as a fun fact, the 1930 in its name is actually a callback to when the first Publix store opened. Now, the building was actually designated a historical site just a few years ago, thanks to the work of both 610 and Publix. And there's a plaque right outside proving as much. But nowadays, the place is pretty much vacant. The owners told us that they're trying to use this as an opportunity to rework the plumbing, the electrical, and the HVAC systems, but there's no real indicator yet about when it's going to reopen or when it will be. Now, 610 director Joe Bogdan said he thought it would make for a great Publix deli or history museum, but Publix doesn't seem to, quote-unquote, have an interest.
What?
Now, I reached out to a spokesperson from Publix to confirm that info and figure out why the company might have declined, and she said she's looking into it. But in the meantime, you can always find all of our top stories on the homepage of clickorlando.com. Ginger, back to you.
Okay, I can't imagine that they would not want a Publix museum. I think that place would be a huge hit.
Yeah, I would too. But
I mean, I would visit it. I certainly would. Okay, and you know, and Mr. Jenkins' photo, that famous photo is in every single Publix I've ever been to. So it's like going back in a history lesson in time. Maybe they'll change their mind. I hope you hear back from them to figure out why they wouldn't be interested in something like that.
Oh yeah, me too. And if I do, I'll be sure to let you know.
Thank you, Tony.